Time to make Germans mad. We're using a SPAS 12 in World War II. Hey everyone, Jarek here. I'm a dragon on the internet, and before I even get to talking about this game, I want to give a huge thanks to everyone that showed up while I streamed. I streamed this game around my birthday and got so many birthday wishes, along with Kev the Galaxy Bender just dropping a bunch of gifted subs. Holy shit.
Maybe she's even
10
one
subs.
from...
Thanks so much, Kev. Again, it does mean a lot to me, thank you so much. So, what is the Burton equation? Well, that's something I asked myself, because this name tells you nothing about this mod. To be honest, it's kind of a really bad name. Now, what if I told you you were going to travel throughout time and fight against a bunch of old-timey Combine, World War II Combine, and 80s Miami Vice style Combine? Yeah, that has your attention a lot more, doesn't it? This name should have been something along the lines of Time Noir, or Noir Throughout Time, or I don't know, something like that. Something a little more descriptive of the game. Plus, the general cover they used and the screenshots they used don't really show this as a proper shooter as it is. I mean, this is just an action game. You are moving forward and shooting enemies the whole time. Also, I'm not the best at making thumbnails on YouTube, but, you know, I've learned enough, and these screenshots don't really grab your attention. The thing I've noticed about making thumbnails is that if you put focus on only a few things, make the backgrounds pretty simple, or make things colorful, people tend to notice it. And the aesthetics of this game don't really lend to people clicking. And have screenshots of actual gameplay. I know you get that the environments look really pretty and you're proud of them, but players don't care. They want to know what they're doing in those environments. Once you get them to actually start playing your game, then they'll stop and look at the environment. Does that mean they change the aesthetics? No. But my whole point about this is the name and the screenshots really don't tell you anything about the mod. With that said, the people that did play it told me that this mod was basically Half-Life 2 Time Splitters edition. You have my attention. So let's play. Level 1, Noir. I was greeted with a cutscene that had a voice actor who's trying a bit too hard to have a low, gravelly voice.
I'm Zachary Burton, police detective. Not that I've had much pride in my job for a long time anyway.
It's still better than most mod voice actors though, so I'll give it a pass. Well, you're in 1930 Chicago, and the Metro gang has taken over the city. But the main protagonist, Burton, is greeted by a rather good-looking woman who pleaded for him to do something about this gang. So, off you go. I guess tits was all it took for you to try to do your job. The first thing I noticed about this mod is that it nails the 1930s Chicago noir aesthetic. Most things are black and white, and you're greeted with smooth jazz right away.
Let's get my hand on my gun before I go.
Maybe it's the ODST in me, but I've always enjoyed this kind of use of saxophone. The first weapon you get is only a .38 revolver, but it sounds like a 500 and hits like you launched a car at their head. Oh my god. God, do I miss stupid, silly ragdoll like this. And you better get used to it because you'll spawn with this revolver at the beginning of every level. Meanwhile, the enemies are basically reskinned Metro cops, but seeing Combine in these 1930s suits in Chicago tickles that alternate history part of my brain. They all carry 1911s. Decent pistol, pretty accurate, good damage. But it wouldn't be Chicago in this era if it didn't have a Thompson. This thing's pretty satisfying. High rate of fire SMG, about what you would expect. Oh, and of course, you get the most satisfying weapon of all, your boot. Oh my god. Alright, kicking people is pretty fun in this mod. Seriously though, there is one more weapon in this level, and it's a BioShock upgraded Thompson. It hits harder and can launch Combine balls.
It sounds neat.
Then he shows up. The level's boss and the antagonist, Fabreen, which sounds like Dr. Breen bought up Febreze.
Did you really think it was going to be that easy, detective?
Once again, the voice actor is trying a bit too hard, but not the worst mod voice acting I've ever heard. Also, this is where the story really starts. If you haven't figured it out, Fabrine is time traveling, and you're about to as well, if the next level loads. You get a text scroll, then just nothing. Nothing happens. I replayed from the last checkpoint and still nothing. It took me way too long to realize that the mod is set up like episodes, where after each chapter, you start a new game with the next chapter. It's weird. I don't really know why they wouldn't make it load to the next episode. Maybe they didn't know how to make it remove all the weapons off you? Whatever. If you get stuck, that's what you have to do. It's not going to load the next chapter on its own, just start a new game at the next chapter. You won't lose any weapons or ammo or progress or anything like that because every single level is a new era and basically restarts all your weapons with era-appropriate weapons. So it's kind of like Time Splitters in that regard. Chapter 2, Sepia. You were suddenly teleported into World War II in the German trenches. It is so weird to see a German combine. First weapon you get is a Luger. Sounds and animations are nice, but it effectively has the same rate of fire and accuracy and damage as the 1911 from the previous level. Still satisfying though. Also, you still have your all-powerful boot. Kick too strong. German in table. You of course are going to get an MP40, but it acts as you would expect. Good animations, not a whole lot to say. It's around this time that something started bothering me. You're in World War II, but it's still using the black and white noir aesthetics, with smooth jazz playing, while the main protagonist is talking about how awful this Great War is. This is not fitting at all. Yeah, so I was going to play an example here of the music that's very unfitting, but when I exported this VOD to my secondary channel, Jarek the Gaming Dragon Plays, which is just kind of where I put all my VODs for safekeeping, near the whole mod got picked up in YouTube's content ID system. This game is a minefield of licensed music. But just trust me, smooth jazz playing to fighting for your life in World War II is not very fitting. At first I thought maybe they were just full committing to the noir vibe, but no, they changed it the next few levels, so what happened here? It also creates this big problem. The first two levels are half the game. So half the game is in black and white. Give me color, please. Imagine if this whole video was like this. Yeah, no. Give me color back. It was at this point that the mod kind of started to feel a bit repetitive. You're fighting the same enemies over and over again. But then it changed and started getting interesting. The German Combine have hopper mines. But you don't have a gravity gun to deal with them, you just kind of have to set them off and run away. But it gets weirder. There are hunters in the German trenches. Again, this is refreshing, because the game started to get repetitive at this point. Also, the concept of the Combine traveling throughout time to screw over humanity even more is inherently interesting. Even if it is basically just the plot of Time Splitters. I mean, why not? We're never going to get another Time Splitters game. The German Combine also have an APC. And you find a rocket launcher to take it down. Not very interesting on its own, but within this setting, this all leads to a very vertical set piece where you plant some explosives, then get whisked away to another time period. Chapter 3, Miami. You're in 80s Miami, I'm pretty sure. And oh my god, it's nice to finally have color. The chapter plays pretty much like the other chapters, but with different weapons. The first weapon you get is a Glock with 3-round burst as an alt fire. This thing creates a problem though. You don't have much revolver ammo, and this Glock is extremely inaccurate. The first whole area is on the streets where you need range, so this part kind of sucks. This doesn't last for long though, because soon you do get inside, and then this level becomes by far the best chapter in the whole game. It basically becomes Hotline Miami. Most enemies are Metro Cop reskins with low health. This leads to fast time to kill where you can just run through rooms. You get a MAC-10 with its signature insanely fast rate of fire, and this is so satisfying. Then, you get a SPOS 12. I think I would have preferred a different shotgun, more fitting to this aesthetic, especially since you get the SPOS 12 again in the next chapter, and that this thing is the only shotgun in the whole game, but I digress. This thing is awesome. This is also where I gave my chat some deep travel knowledge. You know what, now that I think about it, if you just like put a map in front of you and then put like pins to everywhere you've traveled, that's just really a map of everywhere you've taken a shit. I fought my way up the skyscraper, including some platforming outside of windows and balconies where Ragdoll randomly gets hilarious. This eventually leads to a helicopter boss fight with Fabrine. Honestly, not much to say. You shoot him with rockets until the helicopter crashes. Then you need to fight your way out of the skyscraper that's burning down, only to be teleported through time once again. Overall, this was just easily the best chapter in the game. Fast-paced, satisfying guns, great fun. Chapter 4, Terminus. You're in modern-day Half-Life 2 with regular Combine. You get the same weapons, kind of. The USB matches like the Glock where it's not the most accurate, but it has 2-round burst instead of 3. The MP7 got a makeover, but is more or less the same function-wise, just without the grenade launcher. Speaking of, you finally get grenades! And they can actually be cooked. You can cook grenades in base Half-Life 2, kind of. You just have to drop them by your feet and either pick them up with your hands or the gravity gun. This just lets you cook them normally. After dealing with snipers for a while, Burton decides it's safer to be underground. What he doesn't know will kill him in this case. Keep in mind, he's from 1930s Chicago. He's never seen a headcrab before in his life. And, as you probably have guessed, this is your first encounter with zombies and headcrabs. And 2 kicks is all it takes to send them to sewer Jesus. Yeah, Burton has a reasonable reaction to seeing these monstrosities.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe being below isn't the best place to be. This leads to returning to the surface where you get the crossbow. Functionally, basically the same as Half-Life 2, but with a really nice reload. After this is a really big missed opportunity. You start fighting Striders, which have always been really boring to me. They take too many rockets and are just too tanky. Burton doesn't even really react to them, so there's no payoff here. But at last, finally, you start fighting stronger Combine. Something different. And they drop something awesome. An OICW with a really smooth reload and grenade launcher. I'm down to this thing's cool. Something about this gun is just super satisfying. And I'm surprised more Half-Life 2 mods don't use it, considering it was almost in Half-Life 2 to start. But this is where things get really interesting. You'll see yourself traveling back through the eras you've already visited, but fully kitted out. It kind of reminds me of Darkest of Days. It's an awesome concept. You'll have an OICW back in 1930 Chicago, the SPAS 12 in World War II Germany, damage pickups in Miami. Okay, these were in the entire game, and I just forgot to mention them till now. These are really odd and out of place. Not a huge deal, just weird. Anyway, the setup is always awesome, but it's unfortunately very brief. It does lead to a final boss fight with Febreze Man. It's really straightforward though. You're in an arena, shoot him until he dies. I really don't have a whole lot to say about it. Or he's not dead, and you both agreed to blow up the structure you're in, and that's how the game ends.
Press that button and we're both toast. This place, all we've done, all gone.
Could have been contenders for Brain. Could work together, maybe. So a whole lot of messes. You said it yourself. We both saw the Great War. Maybe you could have made this world better. Stopped another one. Or at least, stop this. Let's end this then. Together.
No regrets, Zacky boy.
What? What kind of an ending was that? Just kill the fucker, set charges to the reactor and leave. What was the point of any of this? So what's my final conclusion of this mod? Would I recommend it? Did I have fun? Is it worth to play? Well, I have some positives and some negatives. The mod has an awesome concept, but the story doesn't really live up to that concept. The gameplay is interesting and occasionally fast-paced and rewarding, but can also be very repetitive. It's a mod I would recommend a playthrough, more than not, but it's not winning any Mod of the Year awards. It's free nonetheless, so if you want more Half-Life 2, go ahead and try it. It's already on Steam. Just to click and you can play. Hey, here's a huge thanks to my YouTube members. They get to see my videos early. I'm going to be stockpiling videos soon, so you may get to see things a month ahead of time if you become a member. Also, it's just really cool that people like watching my videos enough to chuck money at me to continue doing what I do. They do help pay some of my bills. I'm serious when I say that. It really means a lot. You don't need to be a member to support me though. If you like this video and want to see more of stuff like this, check out that playlist up there. Or check out the recommended video by YouTube. Or just click this. Click here to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.